April 14, 2026 Beautification Commission regular meeting to order. Please, if you are able, rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. May we have a roll call, please?
Present.
Hoffert.
Present.
Carlson. Present. Dossett.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Second.
Are there any revisions to the agenda? Any objections to approving the agenda as presented? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. We have no scheduled comments. Are there any members from the public who would like to speak on any item not appearing on the agenda? Are there any remote attendees? May I have a motion to approve the May 13th, 2025 minutes?
I motion to approve the May 13th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any revisions to the minutes? Any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. May I have a motion to approve the December 9, 2025 meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve December 9, 2025 special meeting minutes.
I second.
Any revisions to the minutes? Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. May I have a motion to approve the January 13, 2026 minutes?
I motion to approve January 13th, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Can we get a second? Thank you. Are there any revisions to the minutes? Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. I'd like to open the discussion on the 2025 work plan review. Tyler?
Okay. Thought it said staff report. So.
It does.
Yeah, no, that's where you said me, so I was just making sure. All right, so here's just a quick memo of the Beautification Commission's 2025 annual work plan objectives and documents. So this kind of follows along and shows the work plan goals that were set by the commission last year and approved by council. Work plan 1, Parks and Garden Tour, we completed that. Our objective 2, winter tour, not completed. Objective 3 was the Leif Hansen Memorial Fountain, where we kind of used that during our tour too, and talked about design points and what we could do at the fountain for improvements. Completed, and then citywide murals, partially completed. I'm going to read this one. Was originally scheduled for discussion during the regular commission meeting. However, the meeting was canceled due to lack of quorum. The item was subsequently addressed as a discussion item during a special meeting held in December. While progress is made through discussion, the objective remains partially completed because we don't have a full-on mural design yet, but I'm hoping that by the end of the summer we'll have at least one up in the city. Banners and statics displays. ARPA completed. The commission voted on a capital improvement plan to revitalize light pole decorations and discuss current lighting restrictions. The commission fulfilled its advisory role by providing feedback on the development and improvement of static displays throughout the city. So these, I will also say, were kind of my interpretations of them, but when I looked over our minutes in our past meetings, the ask here is that a member of this body fills out the report and that will go forward to council. So there's a formal report you can do. I believe Chair Dothett did it last year. And that will tie in really nicely to our next work plan. So, I mean, you could even disagree with me on some of these points. You could be like, we did not do a Parks and Garden tour. But it's just kind of my interpretation, and then I tried to kind of log some of the stuff that happened over our meeting minutes. So just a guide, and then I'd also open it up. I met with the Parks and Rec, a member of the Parks and Rec Commission, to just meet up and go over there and confirm the date. So they met me in my office, and we went through and filled out the report, and then kind of got everything we needed, and he sent it to me, and then I would send that on to council.
I wanted to ask about the static displays and the banners. So has that request to do a CIP item been presented to council?
Yeah, so the static displays and the light poles were, that's what I took as static displays, as like the light pole decorations,
Right.
as it was incorporated in the capital improvement plan.
So it's on the capital.
Yeah, it's on the
improvement.
capital improvement plan. It does still have to get approved in the budget, but it has been put on the plan and is plugged into the plan and will be presented to council in the budget next month.
Next month,
Yep.
okay.
May 2nd, I believe.
Is it, is there any kind of language coming from beautification to go along with that on the budget? Or it's just a line item and they get to decide?
Yeah, it was just a line item, and then when we presented it to council, that was one of the things we talked about.
So it did get presented to council?
Yeah, in November.
Okay,
Because in November, when we went through the CIP plan in November, we talked about one of the plans you guys added in was to do light pole displays.
Okay.
And then that was presented to council by the Public Works Director. I was also in attendance.
oh, cool, okay.
But, and then it was said, oh, the Beautification Commission kind of added this, and it was accepted and plugged into the plan.
Okay. Other commission discussion about these 5 work goals and our progress for this past year?
Our last meeting, we had discussion to come up with an arrangement to possibly do like a theme per park. That's something that I would still like us to have during a new discussion.
Like a particular, this park theme, like at Leaf Hansen, it would have this kind of a theme, and then the Scout Park would have a different type of theme when it comes to flowers, I think.
Oh, okay. I do not have that, but that sounds like a great thing to add into our next topic of new work plan goal, because that wasn't on the work plan agenda. I do have something about the flowers as we come up, but it's not that as specific as you just said.
Okay, and I think we were talking mainly about Christmas lights. We were gonna try and do like white and red in one area or something like that. Not, we
Okay.
don't really need to touch base on it, but it would just be nice if we could strategize before winter comes, maybe a theme.
Yeah, and Brittany's right. I was thinking you were talking about the flowers, but you're right. We were talking about doing specific lights in different parks and not so many colors in one park, but maybe focusing on just 2 or 3 colors of lights per park.
Yes.
Thank you for reminding me about that.
Yes, thank you.
Oops.
Yeah, so Brittany, I would say that would be a great discussion item to put into the next item too, as the 2026 work plan goals, because we should have meetings before then too.
I think moving the banners and static displays into next year, since the budget hasn't been voted on and we haven't actually obtained anything new, would be my request.
Okay.
Actually move this into the next one, and instead of saying completed, say partially completed, because we did vote on it, we did send it over, but there's not a physical, tangible change as of yet.
Okay.
So. Any other discussion on 2025 before we roll into 2026? Okay, we will open up the discussion on the 2026 work plan. Tyler?
Right. So purpose of the memo I attached in there was I put a link into the code there, but just to talk about the upcoming work plan goal, and where usually the body has, talked about it and then picked someone to, it's seemed to be helpful when I've met with them and help draft it up. The draft work plan goals are in your packet, and it'll kind of just lay out kind of new goals. And as Chair Dothett just said, you could do objective 5. You could continue that over until it's fully complete. And then I think what these goals will do is code will tell me when to hold meetings, like, review the CIP plan. And then if there's any other thing that relates to code, it can become a work plan goal, and that'll signal to me like, okay, we need to have a meeting about that topic. So I'll give an example. Brittany, you said you would really like to just, review maybe trying to do a theme at a park with a light and what that could look like. So I don't know how we'd work out that into a plan right now, but I'd happily, again, sit down with a commission member and discuss that and see if we can get it worked into there. So at our next meeting, we could vote on approving the work plan goals.
Okay, great. Did you say I needed to make a motion?
Nope, just a discussion item. So no motion needed, where it would just be confirming if it would either be with the chair or another member of the body that I could meet with and then go over it and kind of compile the notes. And if there's any other topics that the commission would like to cover for 2026.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I think it's important to note that we discussed the Christmas lights and not having the multicolored ones and, lacing at the base of the trees. That's like winter, what we talk about for the winter season, but then reflecting into the summer season for not only the colors, but the variation in the heights of the flowers and garden items that we put into the containers. I think we liked those trellis things last year, to kind of highlight those in the different areas.
And again, I encourage anything, because this would be a good point to where if there's anything you want to see as a goal to get it out there. So then when the notes are compiled, we can get it in the plan.
And if you think of something, you can email me and let me know. And as chair, I'll try to take lead on this to come up with some work goals for next year. Anything else from anyone?
Since we didn't complete the winter tour, would we be considering not having that be an item?
I liked the winter tour the year before when it wasn't 20 below zero. So the winter tour does have its challenges, but that would be something we can talk about if we don't want to do that. I would say leave it in there and we'll, shoot for it again as long as it's not really cold. This last winter was a little brutal.
I agree. I think seeing the lights and everything and everyone's hard work is motivating. So we should keep it in there as long as weather permits.
All right, well, we will move on to, I'd like to open up discussion on the commission status. Now, there was a document provided in our packet, and I believe Tyler is going to speak on this.
So I'll read the first part of this. Councilmember Grimmy and Vice Mayor Askin have requested the administration present the following data to the Beautification Commission to consider merging the Beautification Commission with the Parks and Recreation Commission. And then through the memo, it talks about just low membership and some meetings that were canceled. But then I think it also does touch on that as both a committee and a commission, this body has provided valuable advisory input on beautification as an issue in the city. And then just wanted to open it up as a discussion if the body would entertain merging with the Parks and Recreation Department. And I'll also ask if Scott has anything else to add. Okay. So this isn't, I want to say this isn't like an official action item, like it says in the memo. It hasn't gone before council or the Parks Commission. It was just a discussion item and this data was presented.
Will we have enough room for the current commissioners to transfer over?
So in the memo, it says if a merger is likely to occur, all current beautification members could serve on the Parks and Recreation Commission, dependent on timing and future recruitment. So I think there may be a need to grow it, but I don't know the actual code on it. Oops.
Okay, well, that's just something we think about and we touch base on next meeting.
Just one second. I think the city attorney was going to speak to that. Or-
No, I don't have anything to add. I don't think we ever envisioned growing the Parks and Rec Commission. I think there's vacancies, and depending on the timing, everybody could be appointed, but we don't know if in 6 months there's still going to be vacancies. I mean, if this commission did decide to move forward with that, it's going to be a long process. I mean, it'd be several meetings and probably a couple months before anything would officially be done, and then any ordinance would then take 30 days to be effective. So depending on the timing, there could still be vacancies. You do have one member that serves on both already, so we're not sure how that would play out in the future, but it's likely we could get everybody that's interested on the Parks and Rec Commission.
All right, I have a few things I'd like to kind of point out. And this was kind of a surprise to me a little bit, but and also not. I know that we've struggled a little bit for the last few years. But there were some things in the memo that I just wanted to clarify. In 2023, we had 7 work sessions, 2 meetings and 1 special meeting. 3 of the regular meetings were changed to work sessions by staff. Many times, I've been the chair for a while, that was not told to me. There were meetings that I showed up expecting it to be a meeting and it was a work session. So it seemed like the staff was making decisions based on how many people would be there, whether or not there would be a quorum, and essentially making decisions to change it to work sessions. In 2024, there were 6 work sessions, 3 regular meetings and 1 special meeting. And so therefore, 2 regular meetings were changed to work sessions. In 2025, there were 3 work sessions, 4 meetings, regular meetings, and 1 special meeting. 2 regular meetings were changed to work sessions. The garden tours in August are considered a work session. Those are always well attended, I'd like to say. So I sort of wish those were a regular meeting. There's definitely been, I know within the city, a lot of work done to try to encourage better attendance at all of the commission meetings. So I know that the city had implemented a text alert system in an effort to decrease absences and sort of get things more tightened up. So I know that this is not just solely a beautification issue, that this kind of stuff does happen across all the commissions. But beautification being a little special, we only have 5 meetings a year, and a couple of those are generally like garden tour, work sessions, things like that. So one of the big things that I wanted to bring to the city's attention, it seemed like for a while, we had some members that we were consistently being absent and yet being like still keeping their spot on the commission. And I had been in touch with the city staff saying, well, we should open this position up. If this commission member can't come to the meetings, we should open it up to someone else. But one of the things that lessons learned was that because a lot of the meetings turned into work sessions, they weren't technically counted as absences. So we were struggling to kind of meet the code of the city that this is the number of absences you've had, you need to step down so someone else can step in. Because we weren't having regular meetings, they were being changed into work sessions. So that is just something I want to bring, these are all learning lessons and things that we can do a little better in the future. There is currently only one opening on Parks and Recreation. There's one member who is on both. So at this time, it seems like two members would be, essentially displaced if we were to merge. We have one more meeting before we break for the summer, so we won't be having any more meetings. So I guess some of my questions are going to be on timing of this. If this is something that the commission wants to move forward with, are we going to open up that discussion before our May meeting, or are we going to wait until the fall? It would just be good to get some guidance from the commission and the staff on kind of timing on what everyone would like to do with this information.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Commissioner Dossett.
No, I like the, how it was lined out in the memo about how the meetings were turned into work sessions. But I also want to note that I think that we did do solid work during those work sessions. And I think on the back end, wrapping it up and consolidating everything into a meeting, is where kind of some of the ball was dropped. And that didn't happen.
Yeah, I agree that there was a lot of good meetings and good work, and work sessions just don't always count as meetings. So that's the hard part. I think that there was some really good work sessions that a lot of positive things came out of. So, but getting everyone to come to the regular meetings and be available, and it's hard because we're all volunteers. We all have schedules, we're all traveling, there's lots of things going on. Some of us were having babies at the time, so not me, but others. And so there was, lots of good volunteers with life. And so, yeah, I think it was some good work done, but definitely some things kind of didn't come to fruition because of the lack of consistency.
And then with a blended commission, what would those meetings look like?
Off the top of my head, I'd say the code for both commissions is in the memo, and the code kind of guides all the meetings and everything. So I would see it as the same, basically merging of the code with the two commissions. The Parks and Recreation Commission, I don't want to say off the top of my head.
10 times a year.
Meets 10 times a year. So there'd be a few more meetings, and then there'd also be an expansion of like meeting topics and discussions. Like, I think one of the biggest ones in their code that's going on right now is reviewing, the Parks and Rec master plans, and then reviewing city policy. Like, last year, the commission reviewed the Leif Hansen Memorial policy.
Tyler, based on this memo, do you as staff recommend moving forward with consolidating the two commissions?
With this, I feel like this is, I think like the commission's created to serve council, and so whatever the commission wants, I'll follow with on. Because we're still, again, like I think my biggest thing is we get valuable input from the commission. But if we did merge, I think there's a possibility of less cancellations. But on that, if council wants us to have a beautification commission and a Parks and Recreation Commission, I'll move forward with that and continue following the code provided.
And if I can just clarify, I know from speaking with our city manager that administration's not taking a position, in favor or against this. The commission is a body of the council, and so it's really up to council and the commissions as to how they move forward.
Brittany, do you have any feelings either way on this issue?
I personally prefer if we were our own body. But depending on how many vacancies that we continue to have, maybe it might be best to go to Park and Recs. But I do prefer that we are our own body.
Do you have a preference, Sonia?
One question before I answer that is for your staff, Tyler, which would align better with reducing your workload? Like helping you be able to attend to your responsibilities and duties better, where you're not feeling like you're spread thin on too many projects or activities?
Honestly, with that, I don't think it would reduce it because we would still have the same amount. We'd probably, and again, this would be up to council, but if we merge the responsibilities, we'd still be following the same responsibilities. So it wouldn't reduce or increase my burden.
Thank you for that. And for me, I would support the decision of whichever way council would want it to go.
Autumn, I know you haven't been part of this commission for very long, but we'd love your input.
Thank you. I've just been kind of sitting here, kind of reviewing the previous notes, and I've just been sitting here trying to reflect because I have been part of the Parks and Recreation committees, and I'm just sitting here trying to think how it could work, just because when we do have a pretty full panel with the Parks and Rec, I know we still have a little bit of a vacancy, so I just trying to think of like the seating arrangement, or if we're going to encourage teleworking, so like via Zoom. And then the other thing that I'm thinking about is minutes for the meetings as well, considering our minutes for the commissions do tend to run a little long. So I'm just trying to think of like how we can either break down the meetings, or how we can make it so that way everyone's discussion topics are being addressed while there's being improvements with each committees, while also being able to address and incorporate each other's times. Because as you had mentioned, we are all volunteers. So we do have life outside of these committees. So I'm just trying to think of how we can address all of those. But if we are wanting to, let's say, keep it separated, I'm just trying to think of like maybe advertising these volunteer opportunities with the beautification committees might be a better solution, because we do find like on several social media platforms, specifically Facebook, I've noticed a lot of individuals are interested in long-term volunteer opportunities. So I think maybe just advertising to the right individuals might be a good solution too.
Thank you very much. I agree that, however council would like to roll forward with this, if they deem that, the city and the volunteers would be best fit merging together, then we will roll forward with that, however that may look. I think that I've been on beautification for a while, and through the transition from a committee to a commission, and I think, we really did some good work, and we really worked hard, and I worked very hard as well to cultivate this. And I think that if it did end up staying as a commission, my request would be that we follow a more concrete 5 meetings and work sessions in addition to those meetings. That way we can keep things nice and tight and clean, and keep members accountable for coming. If you're signing up for this, then, you should be here. And so we appreciate everybody that's here today, of course. So I think that my concern is essentially is eliminating people from the city by having not enough openings on Parks and Recreation to where we would essentially be telling people that, we don't need you anymore. That would be that's tough to say that, you've put into this position, but now we're condensing, we don't have enough space and we don't need you anymore. So that's my biggest concern, is discouraging these volunteer positions. So I don't think I have anything else on this. Does anyone else? Sonia?
I know that for P and Z, Director Buettner schedules the work sessions prior to the meeting. So we attend to the work sessions and then do the meetings immediately after, and that there's a lot of success with that.
Okay, well, we will move on to new business. So it says we have none. I'm kind of curious about the upcoming events that we usually talk about, though. Have we already discussed those and talked about those? Okay, but we're not talking about that today, you're just reporting on it? Okay. Okay. Director Best, may we please have your report?
All right. First things first, all of our flowers have arrived. I know we had a discussion on doing some different arrangements, so those have been kind of getting set out a little differently in our greenhouse this year as we've pulled the plugs and moved them into our greenhouse. We are planning on planting nasturtiums again. I don't know the description you used, but I forget what it was a minute ago, but those were, very trailing. And then, I think we went off the model of, there was a lot going on in our big planters with like the kale and everything, and maybe focusing that more on the land beds and having more of a, I don't want to say monocolor, but more uniform look on the concrete planters. And then one of the things I brought up that I thought we were talking about different coloring arrangements, but how like with the night skies we have that are purple and white. And those looked really good when you put a complementary white in there. So trying to really get things that make the pop and really putting the colors in there intentionally. So we're excited about that. Our greenhouse we were a little nervous because it was really cold in March when our flowers showed up, but they're all surviving and doing okay. And now they were able to spread them out a little more since it's gotten a little warmer. But they showed up and it was still getting like 2 degrees, and greenhouses do not have good insulation. So we were just a little nervous there, but they all did really well. And then up and coming on April 25th, we're going to have Trash Pickup Day, the first part of beautifying the city of Kenai with breakup coming in there. We're going to post up at the library today. We're going to have, as Assistant Director Brown calls it, the hub. I really like that, but
It's Kenai Community Cleanup Day.
Kenai Community Cleanup Day, I'm sorry. But we'll be next to the library with a white tent with trash bags and everything on April 25th at 9 a.m. There'll be donuts and water, and we will have trash bags, safety vests for adults and for children, trash grabbers for adults and for children. And then if you cannot participate, we also always welcome to call us and set up a time. We usually do this throughout churches. We have trash bags. If there's any group or any individual ever wants to pick up trash in Kenai, we will give you a trash bag. We will give you a vest. We'll even ask you to tell us where you're going to leave the trash bag, as long as it's not like 9 o'clock at night by some birds. And we will come by with a truck and pick it up in the city of Kenai. In the city of Kenai. Let's stress that. There was one time one of our bags, I saw it on K Beach, not in the city of Kenai. And I gave it away to a bunch of people and I'm like, I think that's one of ours. So we went and picked it up. But the Rotary adopts a place in front of KCHS that they usually pick up and they'll borrow our bags. We usually have a few churches reach out, but we'll always work with groups if they want bags, if they want grabbers. We've had neighborhoods call before and we'll set it up, and then we'll even come by and pick up the trash and dispose of it to make it easy with one of our trucks as well. So Kenai Community Pickup is Like, we have an event for it, but it's also all summer, all day. But this is right after breakup. There's trash in the bushes. Even the snow melted. There was a Slurpee cup in a tree outside of City Hall that we picked up. So it just shows up under the snow and everything. So that's always a really fun event. Last year, we were at Blue Star Memorial. This year, we're going to do it next to the library. I think the library also provides trash pickup kits, but I know Assistant Director Brown's really excited about the little kid safety vests because that's a new feature, and they are extremely cute. And then currently, we are hiring for our PU fishery positions. Our Parks and Rec maintenance positions closed last week, but we are hiring for all of our PU fishery positions, and we are hiring for rec center attendants, which is part-time year-round. But our PU fishery positions are really unique. If you guys know any teachers, anyone who wants to work for 3 weeks and they want to work every day for 3 weeks, 8 to 12-hour shifts, just work every day, lots of overtime, and get a good little paycheck at the end of it, send them our way. For the PU fishery. And I'll also be attending the job fair with the HR director and some other Kenai staff tomorrow to promote our positions within the city of Kenai. But currently, we are hiring for rec center attendants and a PU fishery cashier and PU fishery attendants. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have a date for planting day coming up?
The Saturday after Memorial Day, which is the 30th, I think, if I'm looking at that right. Yep. So we always do it the Saturday after Memorial Day is always our plant day. I don't know the time right off the top of my head. I believe we usually do 10 a.m. to noon, and then we do a cookout at the firehouse.
Is the Kite Festival going to be that same day?
We're working on a lot of the event details this week. So we wrapped up the Easter egg hunt. We had our City League and then some other things that we needed to wrap up. So a lot of stuff is rolling out currently. The Kite Festival, I just started passing out flyers, but it'll actually go on the website and onto Facebook along with the other events, hopefully by the end of the week.
Is it the same day, the 30th, the Kite
They
Festival?
are not going to be on the same day. Kite Festival will be June 6th.
Kite Festival is June 6th. That's the Saturday after Memorial, too.
No, Memorial Day is a weird one this year because the May ends on the 31st. So Memorial Day is the 25th. So it's like a weird May. I think it's the earliest Memorial Day can be, I think.
So is it the Saturday after Memorial Day?
No, so the Saturday after Memorial Day is
Oh, the 30th.
the 30th.
Planting.
Yep,
It's planting.
planting day, sorry.
Excuse me. Reading my calendar.
Planting day will be on the 30th, and then the Kite Festival will be on the 6th. But that's our common planting safety is plant after Memorial Day. I think when people ask us when our water is going to be on in our bathrooms, we usually say at least by Memorial Day. It's usually on by mid-May, but we do have to wait till there can't be any more freezing at night before we turn on our running waters at our bathroom and everything. And I think that's kind of the rule of thumb for planting stuff in the ground too. So yes, plant day, the Saturday after Memorial Day. I won't say always and forever, but I think that's where it's held pretty true.
I think one of my favorite things I've done since I've been on this commission is you and I were working on the work session, or the work report, work session, the work plan goals last year. And you gave me a tour of the greenhouses with all the flowers, and they were just babies. And that would make actually a pretty cool work session. So for us to be able to come see the greenhouses, so.
Yeah, and that's actually a newer addition that we have greenhouses. Because we have our planter boxes that go out, and beforehand we put them in our shop on a trailer and we pull them outside. And then, so we put all of our plugs in our sturdy 1980s greenhouse. That's a nice heater. And then we have another greenhouse that doesn't have a heater, but when we can start spreading our plants out, it helped with our planter boxes a lot last year. And they really started blooming quite a bit.
Great, thank you.
But Man, I don't know how we'd incorporate that into a work plan goal, but that would be like a tour that we'd have to try to do before plant day. But that would be a fun one. So you guys, even seeing the process of like, oh, we get the plugs here, and this is when we arrange them and we put them in the, like our little 5-gallon buckets to transfer into planters.
Well, like Sonia said, perhaps we could schedule a work session the hour before our May meeting, that we could all meet and see the greenhouse beforehand. All right, for a chair report, I don't have too much today. I want to understand this process better. I want to understand our role as it's been changed. It's cultivated over the year. I think that's a good usage, cultivating our commission roles. So as we move through this time of discussion on whether or not we should be merged with another commission, I'm looking forward to learning what this process looks like, how we can be the best assets to the city that we can. So that's all I have for my report. Council Member Petty.
Thank you. Very much. Thank you so very much. And I just wanted to say, for me personally, as a council member, that I want to richly thank each and every one of y'all for your volunteer time. And I value your input and your insight to the Beautification Commission. And it is a commission. I know that it has there's been metamorphosis in this. And I think you brought out such a brilliant point, Chair Doffett, in the fact that your meetings were changed to work sessions. So some of our volunteers, with the parameters that are set, the parameters never were engaged because they were changed to work sessions. So their absenteeism wasn't shown as a valid absenteeism. And so you bring out a very rich point. And if there were, I have a question for you, or to Mr. Tyler there, Mr. Best, if, are there vacancies on the Beautification Committee currently?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 3.
Okay, great. So any of our wonderful community members, if they wanted to participate in, but I would like to emphasize that the council is very influenced by y'all's recommendation on how y'all would like to see this commission moving forward. So that's why this discussion item was on here. So to share with y'all, the council is going to be having work sessions on the upcoming budget opportunity here in May, or maybe at the end of April. I'm not certain on those dates. But I just, again, want to thank you all for your rich input to the beautification of our city and with the goals that y'all have set forward, which will enhance the livability and the beauty of our town. I want to thank you for that hard work that y'all have done. And that ends my comments. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Are there any members from the public who would like to address the commission at this time? Is there any remote attendees that wish to speak? I'd like to note that our next meeting is scheduled for May 12th, 2026. This is going to be a regular business meeting. And is anybody planning to be absent or attending remotely?
I will be absent that day with cause. I am due on the 13th.
Cause denied. I'm just joking, Brittany. Can't wait for your little one to arrive. I may be attending remotely, but I don't know yet on that one. So, thank you, Sonia. So, Sonia, do you want to make some comments as we get ready to close?
Just that I'm loving the extra daylight and I can't wait for that river to break so I can start fishing.
Brittany, any final comments before you become a mother?
Nope. Thank you guys so much for your time today.
Thank you for joining us. Autumn, do you have any comments for the night?
I was actually kind of curious because I was reflecting back on my packet. If this now is a good time to reflect back on the 2025 objectives, is that okay? I just
Of
have
course.
a question. Okay, so I was reflecting back and I was just kind of curious because I know we had addressed earlier about the citywide murals that it was partially discussed in the past, and I was just kind of curious as to where it has stopped, what's kind of the holdup. I know Tyler had mentioned that we were still looking at a design. I wasn't sure if we had a particular artist that we were looking into to do the design, or if we were just kind of open to the public, or like where these murals are going to be placed.
I have an artist that I've talked to. I know I had a local artist recommended by the Kenai Art Center that they gave a pretty like fair price and some options on there. So.
Okay, thank you. And then where was the murals going to be placed?
We did have a discussion item where we talked about more visible, more better, and then that the green strip was a high visible place to maybe experiment with how these murals will be placed and how they will look. And then I think someone suggested one in front of the ice rink. And then also on the building, the rec center, which has a very large and very brown wall as an option too.
Oh, I like those. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Tyler. I appreciate that. Otherwise, no comments.
All right, seeing no further business before this body, we are adjourned.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.